Hey, good morning, traders. Friday, December 9th, 8:25 a.m. And here are your morning ideas. Okay, guys, we have I don't actually know. I was just looking because I wasn't watching this market last night. So let me switch over. I was doing some videos, but I was looking this morning at the gap up in futures. You typically don't see the market gap up like it did last night. You see here, not on a weekday, right? Not on a weekday that we close here and then we open, 30 points higher. So I wasn't sure what that was because I wasn't watching the markets last night. But I'll probably find out here shortly. You can just check the news and see what it was. But nevertheless, we jumped from 39.65 or thereabouts all the way up to about 4,000 off of the open. And that was just in the 1 hour from the time the market was closed for an hour from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock basically yesterday in the PM. And then overnight, we have a balanced looking profile, but definitely looks like it's making higher highs and higher lows. And so it's got a little bit of a upward sloping trend channel to it. I'm not a big trend line person, but you can definitely see that the market is tilted up. We're trading 40.17 right now. So if we go to the big picture and we look at the areas we were talking about yesterday, we've already got up. Remember I said yesterday that if we get above 39.65 and we can hold, then we'll likely take a run at 40.10 or 40.20, excuse me. We're trading 40.20 like right in that area right now. So what we did was we did most of that overnight. Well, on the gap, you can see that the big hole in the profile here. Now, this is the area where I expect to see the sellers fighting back. So I think that this will be a very interesting open to watch. I believe that we will get. There's two scenarios here that I'm looking for. First scenario is that we get the selling right away from 40.20, and the market pulls back initially, and then tries to get a base and tries to take another shot to get to 40.20, right? I think that that's actually the better scenario for the buyers, is to see the pullback early. The other scenario would be very much the opposite of that, where we would run at 40.20 first, get above it, and fail. If we try that first and then fail, what I look for is the market to start working its way back, because I think that this is the weaker scenario. Even though we push up first, if we fail higher, it's almost like you think of the market as, hey, we've already tried that and that didn't work. So the more likely scenario is that the market fails higher and then goes lower. And that's why I think that the push and the pull of what happens first is important. I think that if you're a buyer, you'd like to see the market actually give like a pullback early in the session, grab a base, and then start to build at higher prices instead of taking the run early, failing, because then I think that it's a lot less likely that we run higher. Now, we're trading futures here, so it doesn't really matter. You can make money if it's going up or down. But you get my point. It's very important to watch. Hey, what has the market tried to do today? Okay, what have we tried to do? And then taking that idea and saying, okay, it's not likely that we just keep trying the same thing over and over again. So if it goes higher and we get a strong move down, goes higher first, strong move down, like scenario 2 here, then I think that I would be less likely to push the long side. Now, the market still will ebb and flow, right? So even if we get, let me erase some of these guys here. So, let's say we get scenario 2, and this is the way I look at the markets on a more like swing intraday level. But if we were to do exactly this, like scenario 2, that doesn't mean that the market's not going to ebb and flow anymore today. What it means is once we get that failure and we start to push back into the profile, then we pull back. And then we go lower. So you can get, there are opportunities all the time for, let me see here, for you to look for Oh, there was just a big move there at 8:30. Let's check that real quick. PPI, that wasn't good. That took back basically that whole move. And this is the second time in a row PPI has kind of not rocked the market. Let's see if the market takes this back right away. I didn't realize that it was coming out at 8:30, so that's bad on me. You should always be looking, making sure that we're aware of the big news. I did know that PPI was out this week. I just didn't know that the last time I thought it was an anomaly that it moved the market. The CPI, non-farm payrolls, FOMC are the ones that are really moving it, but I guess PPI is moving it too. Last time PPI came out, did something very similar. It took it all back pretty much right away, but that was a 60-point move right off of the number. Okay, you can probably see here what the number was. If this thing updates, it won't. It was probably a miss. And again, you don't know. Good news can be bad news kind of thing. Bad news, good news. And so we've talked about that before. But nevertheless, this changes the landscape a little bit if, we've taken back the entire gap pretty much. So if you give me a second, we can kind of go through this again. Okay, so now we're trading inside in the middle of this range here, and I have this thing on, guys. I apologize. Now we're trading back in the middle of the range. So this is more of the, the chop, try to get to 40-20. I think it's a lot harder to pick direction in the middle of these ranges because we've traded so much here that the market is comfortable here, right? So when the market is comfortable in a place, you get a lot of indifference and a lot of chop. It's like going into your grocery store and you're going to buy, water, and the water bottle is a case of water is $4.99. Next time you go in, it's $5.25. Next time you go in, it's $4.75. You probably don't give a damn, right? You probably are like indifferent. It's like, oh, it's a quarter. I don't really care. You're going to buy it anyway. So you see a lot of transactions and the market kind of moving aimlessly in these thick areas where a lot of transactions have happened because it's in the middle of balance. The market is really indifferent, okay? And that's where we're heading to right now. We'll see if there's a lot of these big news moves lately and the market takes back some of them. It doesn't take back other ones. And we have a lot of kind of scene of the crimes laying around in here. So it'll be interesting to see if we come back all the way back up to 40-20 where we were trading before the news, or we chop around in this area. Either way, I think that these are the days where typically I've struggled the most in my trading career is trying to pick direction in a directionless environment where the market's not going anywhere. So I think that for me, the way I try to behave in these markets is I try to wait for a move to one of the perimeter, like the edges of these fat areas, and trade against them, right? Because a lot of times, most times breakouts fail, especially in indices. Like they're more mean reverting instruments. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. It just basically means that the market doesn't trend. It tends to go back and forth more. And of course, that's not always, but indices tend to be more mean reverting than some of the other commodities, right? So that's why I don't really, this isn't my forte of trading in the middle of a chop zone, because I'm not a scalper. I'd prefer to be a little bit wider, a little bit further away from the market. Okay. I don't want to ramble on anymore. We'll see if this market takes this move back. I think we got a lot of good stuff in here because we were making ideas based on the market opening at 40-20. Now it's not opening there. We may be back there in 5 minutes after we've taken this news back, or we may end up, opening up in the chop zone. So I'll leave you guys with that. A lot of good stuff coming. I keep saying that at Take Profit. I continue to chip away on these videos every day to get them out to you guys. So I hope you guys are ready for what we got coming. And if you guys have any questions about it, please let us know.